She hasn't been outside the US before now, but she joins us. You've just basically arrived for the first time outside America.
Love it. It's fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Not at all. So you've travelled here for what reason? Just tell us.
Well, I've always wanted to see London, but really I wanted to make the trip and sort of speak the wishes and thoughts and sentiments of my father, and hopefully, get a message to my sister that, well, things aren't really what they've seen. There's so much misperception, and hopefully we could clear up record and move forward with peaceful resolve.
Understood. And your father is Thomas, and just tell us why you think Meghan hasn't been in touch with him since the wedding.
Honestly, I think, well, but if you can imagine this media madness has been quite overwhelming, and media is quite powerful. And so when you take something as powerful as that goes around the world at lightning speed, larger than life, whether you say nothing or you say something, it's almost always twisted, we've experienced, for negative effect to self-publication. I think it's been quite hurtful to our family. I can't imagine how hurtful it's been to my sister. But so much of reality has been twisted, is unknown, and it's unfortunate. So
I suppose the thing that went wrong for Thomas Markle, your father, was when he posed for those photos and people thought they were real, but they were just posed and he took money. That's the photo of him having his wedding suit fitted and him reading about castles and all that. Was that a mistake?
Actually, he wasn't being fitted for a wedding suit. He was because he wears rather large hoodies, he was having someone, and those were not fake, he was having someone fit him for sweat jackets because he orders larger jackets.
Well, him reading about castles, that was took money for that, right?
But not very much. And the logic behind that really is that, I became so tired of him being purposely photographed in such a hurtful way, in a disparaging way. I said, you have a right, like a business card, to defend yourself and have the world and the British royal family see you as you accurately are. Don't lay down and let them disparage you like that. And so with regards to the money and this idea of cashing in, he was turning down $50,000 interviews. So clearly, money was not the goal, and the small amount of money that he received, £1,500, the photographers made the money, not my father.
Do you regret?
It was never.
I know you've said that it was your idea that he posed for these photos that got him into so much trouble. Do you regret that?
I would regret more allowing paparazzi to continually make him look like a horrible slob and do everything they could to disparage him. It felt really wrong to allow that to continue. And because I love him, I said, you cannot let yourself be seen like this and as a representation of who you are. That was wrong.
Did he have a heart attack before the wedding?
He had two, actually, one earlier. And I think because of the pressure of the wedding, he really wanted to be there. He had a speech planned. He was really looking forward to it. And the doctors finally said, you can't ignore this. I mean, he was literally working his speech up to the last minute.
So obviously he couldn't be there on the day. It just seemed, looking at it, that someone had given him this silly idea of posing for photos and taking money. He went with your advice on that. He then got into all kinds of trouble. He got into a terribly stressful situation and then ends up having a heart attack.
Well, he had had one earlier, and really, I think, like so many men, was avoiding some of the signs, the stress, the shortness of breath, pins and needles. He really wasn't up to par, but because he wanted to be at the wedding, he ignored the signs. Even though the doctor said you'd had a small one earlier, I think he was in denial. He wanted to be tough and brave it, be able to walk my sister down the aisle, so unfortunately, he let it go too long. Okay,
yeah, he missed that. You don't blame yourself for mishandling that?
I don't see what the other option would be, because no matter what, I found that certain publications will make you look as bad as they can, and I think it really reflected poorly on everyone. I couldn't let that continue.
Now, Meghan is, as we know, is your younger sister, Samantha, stepsister. You feel she's frozen you out, is that right?
Well, she's not my stepsister. She's my blood half-sister.
Okay, half-sister,
I think it's really funny the Kardashians don't call each other half anything, even though they have
let's say sister, that's fine. You've got the same father. Yeah. You feel she's frozen you out?
I think that perhaps she was hurt. I mean, I felt like she should know better than to believe tabloids. But I think, quite frankly, she probably believed what she was seeing as well. And I guess there's also protocol that you say nothing. So I think that snowballed, unfortunately, to a lot of hurt feelings on everyone's part. And I'm hoping that we can have a happy ending to
Could it
the
be
story.
because you called her Dutch ass?
That was, and I do regret that.
Am I pronouncing that right? Dutch ass? Or is it
yes, my
Dutch ass, maybe?
well, I worked in broadcasting and radio and for a while, and I've always been a bit boisterous. But I think I said that at a point which it seemed inescapable. There was no return. It seemed as though...
So you shouldn't have said it?
Yes, but it was more or less...
Did you apologise for it?
To my sister, absolutely.
You apologised to your sister?
Yes, and to Harry as well.
But you didn't at the time, did you?
No, I was really lashing out at media because I felt that no matter what we said, everything I said in the beginning was favorable. Nobody printed that. And when I said nothing, they created stories. And it was really just, it had run amok. And I felt
All right, because it may be the stories are fueled by you, Samantha. You said fake waves and smiles can stop. The Dutch ass can bow to the daddy. On Harry's birthday, you tweeted a picture of a hamster as you macked down on your birthday cake. Here it is. As you mack down on your birthday cake, think about the birthday wishes you never extended to your father-in-law. It's quite aggressive, isn't it?
It was meant to be funny, and I thought the picture was cute. Someone said, oh, you're suggesting that Harry looks like a hamster. Well, he's quite handsome. I would never say he looks like a hamster.
Yeah, meant to be funny, but hurtful. You specialise in helping people with mental health problems. So you know that what one person means to be funny is very hurtful, destructive to another. Don't you?
It was meant to be light, but at that point I'd felt like, the bottom line is you should reach out to Dad. There's no excuse for continuing and ignoring. And I felt like, the British people, anyone who has brothers or sisters would understand. You might not always agree with what is going on, so you don't generally disagree or agree with everything.
I'm struggling here because I can't see how, if you've got a disagreement with somebody, you take it out on her on Twitter. You described her as Princess Pushy, but you haven't spoken to her for 10 years.
No, and that's not true either. It was 3 years ago, contrary to public assumption.
You dubbed her narcissistic and selfish.
And did anyone see me say those words? Who dubbed her narcissistic and selfish?
These are your tweets.
No, that was not a tweet. Well, the Princess Pushy.
The Duchess of Nonsense.
The Duchess of Nonsense, I did say, but only at a point at which the media madness had gone so far.
Your book was going to be called, what, The Diary of Princess
Pushy's sister.
Right, OK, so you used the phrase.
And there was
There
was a Princess Pushy in history. The title of my book was meant to make a mockery of social labels because she had been coined the Princess Pushy. Those were not my words. And so when I wrote this book, I thought it would be clever, unfortunately it backfired, to show in my book that the content is opposite the title.
Well, look, what I'm driving at here, you have insulted Meghan so much, your sister, including blaming her for her father's death while he's still alive. She would be well advised to pull up the drawbridge on the royal castles, wouldn't she, Samantha, and not see you?
But I wonder how you would feel. Is it more insulting that people respond to feeling disregard and feeling ignored, or is it best that everyone just continues saying nothing? So I thought, in the beginning, when we spoke publicly, I thought that we were being open-hearted and even favorable, and that fell on deaf ears, and the media turned it into something that it was not. So when
the media aren't to blame because it's consistently rude, isn't it? Your public messaging, calling her Cruella de Vil. We've been through it all. Why do it all publicly? That's why I don't understand. I've got a brother. I mean, we're great friends. If I fall out with him, there are lots of ways. I can send him a letter. He may not open it. I could call him. What I'm not going to do is tweet insults at him because then he won't talk to me. Isn't that how we all work with each other?
What was going on that didn't make sense is that I really started to feel protective over our father.
But why insult her? I don't understand.
Because he was being purposely ignored.
Sure, but how does it help him to alienate Meghan? I don't understand. Help me understand.
We were hoping that private channels would be used.
They're not being used.
When they failed, we went public.
So, yeah, well, but help me understand. How does it get Meghan closer to your father?
Hello, Royal Sussex squad. Welcome back to the channel where we set the record straight and uplift our faves, Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. If you're here, you're part of the squad that stands for truth, dignity, and a whole lot of receipts. Now let's get into this mess because someone's been out here trying to rewrite history. Again, today we're talking about the audacity of a certain someone, Samantha Markle, who has built her entire public presence on trying to tarnish Meghan's name. And once again, she's failing miserably. Now, in a recent interview, Samantha Markle, the woman who hasn't been a real part of Meghan's life for over a decade, has been out here peddling lies and gaslighting the public into believing she and Meghan were close. Let's be clear, Samantha has never been Meghan's confidant. This woman has spent years desperately trying to profit off of Meghan's name, from fake books to fake tears, but we see through it. The interview was nothing more than a pity party, with Samantha pretending to be the victim while simultaneously dragging Meghan's name through the mud. She claims Meghan froze her out. But, honey, how do you get frozen out of a relationship you were never in? Meghan has been nothing but grace under fire, yet this woman continues to claw for relevance with every breath she takes. And let's talk about the lies. Samantha and her father, Thomas Markle, have been pushing the narrative that Meghan abandoned him. But let's remind everyone of the facts. Thomas Markle was caught staging paparazzi photos ahead of Meghan's wedding and then had the nerve to play victim when the truth came out. That wasn't the media twisting things, that was his own doing. Yet Samantha is out here acting like the British press is the villain. Girl, have a seat. We all know the real villain is anyone who tries to exploit Meghan for a check. And speaking of checks, let's not forget that Thomas Markle was allegedly turning down $50,000 interviews while still collecting smaller payments for staged photos. It's giving opportunist, not concerned father. Samantha also tried to deflect from the hateful things she said over the years by playing innocent. But let's pull up the receipts. This is the same woman who called Meghan Cruella de Vil, Princess Pushy, and Duchess nonsense, all while claiming she just wants to reunite with Meghan. Make it make sense. She even had the nerve to blame Meghan for her father's alleged health issues, as if stress from being a habitual liar isn't the real problem here. What's truly baffling is how Samantha claims to advocate for people with mental health struggles. Yet she's been actively cyberbullying her own sister for years. The hypocrisy is real. Instead of seeking an actual relationship, she took to Twitter to throw shade at Meghan and Prince Harry, even posting a disgusting hamster meme on Harry's birthday. That wasn't light-hearted or funny. It was bitter and nasty. If anything, it showed just how much of her time is spent obsessing over Meghan's life instead of fixing her own. And let's not ignore the interviewer's role in all of this. Instead of challenging Samantha's nonsense, they let her ramble on as if she had any credibility. But we're not falling for it. Meghan's been living her best life, with her loving husband and adorable kids, thriving while Samantha is still crying for attention. The contrast is stunning. So let's get this straight. Meghan owes these people nothing. Not a phone call, not a letter, not an ounce of her energy. She has moved on and built a beautiful life, while they're still stuck in the past, throwing rocks from the sidelines. And guess what? She's not looking back. If you stand with Meghan and Harry, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Let's drown out the hate with love and truth. And of course, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. If you love what we do here, support the squad by sending a super thanks. We appreciate you all for keeping this space strong and supportive. Until next time, stay loyal, stay loud, and stay proud. Royal Sussex Squad, we ride for Harry and Meghan. See you in the next one.